Okay.
It's the next day.
So just so I know, you put up the video.
Yes.
Okay. When this morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
After we talked about it.
Okay. Okay. So so from my perspective, let me tell you what has happened since the video that Wa put up that we filmed yesterday and, well, I guess right now.
Yeah, the climax, basically the answer to what happened.
Okay. To recap, yesterday, Wa and I are just doing the thing, honey. We're doing the thing. And we are filming this episode. And as we're filming a podcast, so like auditory, whatever, we're hearing things. And, like it's female sounds and they're loud and muffled and they're like of indeterminate origin. And we also can't tell where it's coming from because we perceive it as either being in the window over here, which is like the street, or I'm perceiving it back here, which could be like, another window and like neighbors, whatever. So we're doing the thing though. We like, you can tell that we hear it. We're like, oh, okay, well, podcast, like city living. Everything is chill until I very much hear a woman say, someone help me. And I also can hear that it's in the building. Now, it's above me. Okay, so
I could not tell. I did not believe that it was above. I thought it was like out in the back somewhere. So that's where my position is. And my immediate reaction is to not ignore it, but not figure out what it is. Just like sit back and listen and wait for, something else to occur. But Chris, being every girl's girl, is like, a woman is in distress. That's what Chris hears.
I at first am trying to figure out if, we're in a major city, and there's lots of lovely people who don't have a lot of like social services that, I would love them to have, and nor do they have the mental capacity to take them. Long story short, am I hearing the noises of a lady going through a mental episode on the street that I would not be able to help? You know what I'm saying? Because that's also an option. So like there was a lot of things to go through, but when I heard this someone help me and I feel like it was in the building, then, I've lived in this building for a long time. And I'm like, oh, I know the people that live in this building. Like I know the women. And so then I'm like, specifically like, the fuck is that? I'm like, is that what's happening? And so, yeah. So when literally I was like, tell this to Walt, like I heard someone help me. It's just like a fucking call to action. I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to just keep hearing what sounds like a woman being killed or raped for the past hour. I can't do it, And so, yeah, then I call. So I call, which I know I said her name on the thing. Oh, well.
I mean, you said yes. So
yeah,
Patreon
so your first
knows.
name. Yeah, Patreon knows who one of my neighbors is, who I love very much. And so I just think it's her or someone, I didn't quite sure because she lives like kind of like above me. And so I realized it's not her because she didn't even hear the noises. And, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And as she's down here, I hear another scream, which is like making me crazy. Also, there's another people that live above me, and I've only met the young lady once, and I met her in the laundry room like 4 days ago. So then I'm like, holy shit, it's this person. I don't even know her name.
So she goes upstairs. Then that's where it cuts off, right? We don't know what it is.
Sees, and I'm like so weirded out. Yeah.
So let me tell you now what it was from my perspective. So I came to you guys yesterday, and I was like, yeah, we'll see you guys next time. So we find the neighbor that she's worried about because she calls her. She's at home. She doesn't hear anything, and she lives next door to it. So then we go upstairs, and Chris just is knocking on this lady's door, right? This person's door. Now I can see somebody sitting in the living room, like watching TV. So I am like, well, they're not answering the door. They don't want to come and talk to you. So Chris is knocking, and we could see the person through their window that they were sitting there. So then we come back downstairs because like she did her best. And then maybe 5 minutes later, that neighbor who she called comes down and is like, hey, yeah, that was her. She's playing a video game, so she didn't hear us. And Chris is so confused. Chris is like, what do you mean? She's like, she's playing a video game. So in her video game, she's talking to people. So she said that out loud. And so she's okay. She came out. She said,
she screamed, someone help me. Yeah, she doesn't realize that like we're in real life. And so I was like, okay.
Yeah. So it was a gamer. And Chris had actually called that in the very beginning of it. She like, and then, yeah. And then when the verdict came, she was like confused as to how that could happen, even though she definitely did say, is this person gaming?
I know. It's like, I know this sounds so weird. It's like, you know, you put your own stories in my mind. Once I heard someone help me, I could not fathom a world in which she didn't need help. My only thought was, is this like an actor just like running over a scene? But I hadn't heard the same things over and over again. If I had, you know, that's another thing about LA life. You can definitely hear like, someone help me over and over again. And you know, it's a horrible actress, just like, you know, like running some sort of line. So if I kept hearing, someone help me, and I'm like, fine. I'm like, oh my God, get through it. Oh my God, this is horrible. But I guess I'm happy she's rehearsing. She really needs it. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was only the one time. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm happy that that person wasn't it. But also, I also low key want to be like, yeah, also now you know you can't be just screaming. Someone help me. You're in the middle of the day upstairs because because you live in an apartment building where people will think that you're being killed. Are you insane? The fuck? Put a muffle on you. Oh my God, stop playing video games in the middle of the day. Who are you? Get a podcast. I don't know.
All right, well, let's start recording.
Wait, were you happy
at the
to
7 minute?
Yeah. Well, was like, I'm done of the story. You like didn't hear the last 5 jokes I said. All right, well, we're gonna end this and start this. End and start.
All right, bye Patreon. See you in the second. Hey everyone. I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris.
And welcome to DocuSweeties.
Yep. So guess what? DocuSweeties is this podcast where we, you know, we are lifelong friends and we do the thing where we watch podcasts and no. Shit.
Okay, so anyways, we're 2 longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, that's what we do. And sometimes it's through our own lens, which is confused. But just like out there, you know, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet and put together. We'll see. Yay!
Hi.
Hey.
So this is 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, season 6, episode 2, Say Anything. And you guys, I just got so excited to talk about it while I was saying the name of it because Before the 90 Days is the best.
Mm-hmm.
That was my introductory into this world. It was 2018 and
She got her first hit.
Darcy went to Holland to meet a young man who gave her a promise ring in a windmill. And it just sucked me in, and it was the best TV I'd ever seen in my life. Okay. So now we are on season 6. It is 2023. And this is a season which they have chosen to make the titles of every episode. What, Chris?
90s rom-coms.
So we've got Moonstruck, and now we've got Say Anything. And I predict that there's going to be a Pretty Woman episode. So
I can see that happening. And I just want to say this. I have never seen Say Anything, and it's that John Cusack movie where I think that there's like a famous scene of him like holding up is this the one where he holds up that boombox and it plays a song?
So that's not John Cusack. That's some other person, and that's a Breakfast Club.
Okay. What's Say Anything?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Okay. I love Moonstruck though. So,
You're gonna look it up, Say Anything? What's it about?
Well, because I'm like, you know, you say things all the time, and I'm like, John Cusack is in Say Anything.
Does he hold up the boombox?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that
yes, mommy? Look, that's why when you said it it with such strong strength, and I was like, I think she's wrong. How do I
wait a minute?
Chill?
You don't have to be chill. Just tell me I'm wrong. Okay. But also, number 1, 2. Doesn't that happen at the end of the Breakfast Club? Doesn't someone do that at the end of the Breakfast Club where they come out on the baseball field and they like hold up a boombox? I'm making this all up, I guess. Oh, he's just has his hand in the air.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, it went through us. Okay. So here we go. We're already gonna talk about the show. Don't even worry about it. It's 10 minutes in, but okay. Well, not.
It's not.
Okay, whatever. God bless. So, we are excited to give you this because listen, we watched it together and we liked it. You know, we like the season, we like the whole franchise, specifically this offshoot. Was fine. She's just like, you know, like getting a little like water, a little parched. You know, it's interesting because there are certain people that we find unwatchable and it's different. So we can talk about that too. Are you okay?
Yes. Yes, you were so upset about not so
because,
upset
because you know why? Because I'm like
say anything. I literally all you have to do is tell me I was wrong.
You said it was such value. You were just like, no, it's not. It's not. It's not. And it's not. Then I was like, okay. So I just had to subtly. This is what I did. Okay, Patreon knows this, but for the feed, I wanted this would happen. I knew she was wrong, right? But I couldn't do anything about it. So I looked. Let me say it. So I had to look it up on my phone, Google it. And then just to slightly show her that, like, A, John Cusack's in the movie. B, the first picture coming up is him holding the boombox, you know? So just like, and then I then just like had to put down the phone. So that's why if it auditory, that's what happened. I proved her wrong in the moment. And it's only because she said it was such like, oh, no, it's this. So I was like, okay. All right, girl. I don't want to be combative online, but you know. So anyway.
I'm sorry. We can go on. Go on.
No, yeah, I love you. Was that what your like experience was?
My experience was like, no, I was wrong, but I really, really felt like I had seen that.
I know.
That's what it was. But I didn't mean to put you down. So if that's what I did, I do apologize. It wasn't.
You didn't put me down. I just knew I was right, and I just didn't know how to like subtly. No, because you felt so. You felt like you were so right, and I was like, she's wrong. It's just I'm online, and also this is the other thing. We're doing a podcast, so not only do I know that you're wrong, I know they all know you're wrong. So I can't just let it go because these people are going to be screaming. What? No, it is. And so I have to let it be known in the moment that while you're wrong and everyone else, we all know we're right. And so there's a lot of things in this moment that I had to like remedy in the moment. But I love her so much. Yeah, but she, you know, when she thinks she's right, honey, she will stand up and say it. You're just like, okay. Gina, should we start it?
Yes, go ahead.
Gino and Jasmine. I don't know about Jasmine. I mean, I've already this. Jasmine feels like she's taken like 3 lines of cocaine and just like starts every scene and she looks banana-ramas. Her energy is like, I mean, border, you know, a little like manic, you know, and unsettling. And everything now is extreme about sex. Like first scene, you know, like let's get that vagina tight, you know, now like, you know, her scene in this episode, let's get that asshole wide. Like, I mean, just like, why, how, okay, like, oh my God, what? I mean, like, why is every scene about the stretching or tightening of your huge body part? I just don't even understand, not huge, but like, what? Everything is very, I don't want to know about your body this way and like the deep parts of your sex. I guess it's like mildly, I guess what I'm like, I don't need to know every detail of Gabe's like urethra surgery, you know, like, but it's stuff that I don't, it's just, that's a lot. And it's like, you know, I just, anyway, go ahead. Juan.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's definitely doing it for some shock value. Sure. Also, her lipstick was great in that scene where she got the butt plugs.
Yeah, like matte raspberry, a bright.
Yeah, it was like a good red.
Was it a red? I clocked it as being raspberry.
Oh, I clocked it as being like a red. But it's okay. Yeah. You might be right. You're probably right.
Not this time, Juan. Only that first time. No, just kidding.
No, it was fine. So yeah, we start off Gino's scene with him talking about how he updated his wardrobe. He's at his uncle's home, and the uncle rented out the like common room in the apartment building for them to just make the most mess while making noodles. And then the sauce and the noodles didn't look exactly as I thought it was going to look. It was just like all together in a clump, it felt. And yeah.
There's flour everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just don't think Marco got on his knees and like cleaned it up. You know, but I'm hoping that it was like executive producer of the show.
Yeah. Uncle Daddy Marco.
But yeah, he overcooked the pasta. Okay. So that is the sad part, only because if you're not like, the idea of fresh pasta is like as beautiful as like a summer morning or like a, a new life, like the hopefulness of what could be fresh pasta. The taste of it is like incredibly joyful. And so just to see it overcooked in one big clump in that pot was just, I mean, like, listen, sometimes it doesn't work out. Okay, anyway, so but yeah, so we have that. He's also going to keep talking about how happy he is, honey, that he has updated his wardrobe.
No, he did not, Chris. It's a fallacy. He bought this new hat, this new style of hat, which looks not good on him. Looks like he's trying to like wear a hat of a year past, like a bygone time. Is that the right way? Mm-hmm. Bygone time. And that he just like decided to just wear it. It's like, I don't know, it's so weird. It's like when men wear fedoras and they don't have a suit on. You're like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Also, he didn't update his wardrobe. Every shirt, there hasn't been, I don't understand what he thinks. Like, he even in this scene is like, I didn't get rid of the shoes, which was arguably the worst part of him. Yeah. And I just, so like, he doesn't understand how horrible he looks. I think that he, and I think that he thinks in his mind, I just need to get new clothes, new versions of what I like and what I already have. So he's like, I kept the sandals, but don't worry, I just bought a brand new pair. Like, I think that he's like, don't worry, I updated my, you want me to update my wardrobe? Check. It's so, God, if only like he could go to a stylist, like.
Yeah, but his family's sitting around and they're talking about how Jasmine kind of tells him what to do, and Jasmine won't sign the prenup, and they really think that he is PUSSI whipped over Jasmine, and like she's this like great, I don't know, predator in their midst. So they're like, "Are you sending her money?" And he's like, "Yeah." It's like, sir, I mean, you brought up a really good point. You want to bring it up?
I know it's so okay. Yeah. Not for everyone, but because Gino is Italian and East Coast and a little older, and he's being pressed by there's a weird like light on my face. I don't mind it though. He's being pressed by a gentleman of an older generation than him. So I wonder about this because, as we also know, Jasmine is his fiance and they've been together for a second. So when they're like, Gino, do you give her money? I don't understand what the reaction would be if he was like, yeah, I give her money. She's my woman. I'm taking care of her. Of course. Of course, I take care of my woman. Like, would Uncle Marco be like, oh, Gino, I hate when we've been always telling you don't take care of your woman and make your woman go out and work and the men just sit there, like,
yeah.
Only because it's like, you come from Italy, like there's, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but like, obviously there is like gender roles and old timey fashion stuff. Like, and Gino could stand and just say that. And I wonder what people would say to him, but instead we're going to get a Gino be like, yeah, whatever. And therefore people don't think that he's making good decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you're right to a certain extent, because I tried to think about like Patrick and Thais. And like, what if John and Patrick had that conversation and Patrick just simply said that? I think after like a rebuttal or two, John would be like, yeah, I guess you got to take care of your woman. Like, I feel like even that would happen, right?
Yeah, because like, if you think of like, would you not take care of your woman?
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. Like, because let me say this. Also, I understand what it's like to come from a culture where men take pride in that. It's a pride thing, like you wouldn't pay for the check because I can do it. Why wouldn't I do it?
Yeah.
I have enough and like I feel good about, it's like whatever. It's just like, it's just so I just wonder if someone had that confidence and security, like who could tell them off or tell them they're wrong, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. And I don't think Gino's that at all.
I know.
At all. So
let's move on. So we hint this, but let's just talk about it. Jasmine has a scene with her friends. There are two friends. She shows up. Jasmine has all of these scenes now where she's showing up to like, lunches with people that it feels like she just met or hired off the street, honey.
Gosh.
And they show up with like a brown paper bag, like fresh from a store, like, and then in the brown paper bag is a gift, and it's 3 different size butt plugs in, light blue Tiffany's color. And she's like, "Oh, I love the color." And then she, explains to us why.
And then we just have to deal with that. And the friends are looking at her like she's crazy, because at the end she ends up saying, "Yeah, I want Gino to make a will immediately and put all of his assets to me, because he needs to take care of me, because I am going to give up my life and in the only place that I've ever known." And the friends are like shaking their head, but you can tell the facial expressions are not. Yes, they're like, "Wow, it's fucking crazy that you would ask him before you were married to like make you like redo his will." Redo his will.
I don't want him to die. And the minute she said, I was like, "Oh, she's gonna kill him." I mean, like, there is Jasmine went. I don't know if I said this on live or last time, but like Jasmine went from Jasmine, like a nicer version of like season 1 Larissa, to like Lyda. I mean, I'm like, she feels like she's only out for her own good, and she's just like,
yeah,
I don't know. There's just like, at this point, I kind of like want her to like, I don't know. I don't want her to be in America. I don't like that energy.
Yeah. I want to go back and watch Lyda and Eric's season, because they truly are a couple from this, like the newer version of this, who have just like sunken out of scope.
Oh yeah.
Like it's almost like they were never on this show. They don't do anything with the franchise. Nothing. Not saying that TLC would have them, but like it's wild that even the most hated people will get another, like, what's her face? Danielle and Johan. Danielle will get more TLC time. She will be on. She's like Angela Dean. They just hate watch or whatever. Anyways.
Oh, they wouldn't come on. So I did a little deep dive to find out what was happening with them. They hated the way they were perceived, or they hated the way they were edited. They won't come back on. And so the daughter released some social media. I think she remember I forgot what the daughter's name was, but
there was maybe
there was 2. I know there was 2. There was like one that was like predominantly more around, because age or something like that.
And they moved into her apartment.
Yeah. So she did a YouTube or like an Instagram live where she talked about the relationship, and I think basically it was like, we don't talk anymore. Like I never see them. But from what I know, they're still together. Eric and Lyda are still together.
I just love the idea of Lyda just like, what? Listen, this is the morbid like a woman wins type story for me. But I feel like Lyda is one of those, like, she fully, I mean, the person she picked to come to America with wasn't the right person for her, but she fully found a person that she is just like sunk her claws into, because really, what is great about her? We saw her and we saw the way she treated his kids, and he's still with her. He's either profoundly lonely, he's actively miserable and he's living in it, or he does love her and like, she's fucking mean.
I hate her so much because I hate her so much because of the fact that he has daughters, right? Obviously, like that's why.
Yeah.
Because if I want the daughters to win, and I'm like so mad, and I think that he's such a disgusting father, and I just like was so upset the way that everything happened.
Yeah.
Now, okay. I know we have to go back to this, but I'll just say that I think that maybe, I wonder, like some men like bitches, and she is an evil bitch, and I like I feel like there's some sort of deep insecurity within him that gets off from the fact that this mean evil bitch is with him because he feels like maybe she has a certain amount of discernment, and her discernment has allowed him to be the choice, and that somehow feeds him enough to sustain.
Yeah, I don't know.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's so crazy and interesting, definitely. Okay. Gino and Jasmine. Are we still in Gino and Jasmine shit?
Wait, okay, so let's just get to so then he gets driven to the airport by Marco. Okay, and we get this scene where the Marco is very much like, you are embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like if you think that the pasta was embarrassing, that is a non. You are the wet noodle.
Yeah.
You are the squashy, overcooked noodle, honey, and just like sitting there, just like blop into wherever it is. Like.
So, yeah, he basically is like, don't let her over there and boss you around. And he's like, I'm not gonna let her boss me around. And then Uncle Daddy Marco gets to the airport and he says this. Says this, I'm worried that Jasmine, she's gonna come in there, bouncing her boobs in front of him. And then we have this black lady in the background who like immediately turns.
Yes.
To like, and so those of you on Patreon who are watching this, the video feed of it, you see that lady with that white brimmed hat or that like tan hat? She actively turns around the moment he says that.
Yes.
And she like travels across the screen. And it was so hilarious.
Because yeah, like it's two things. Like she's minding her own business. This is not someone who like wants to be on TV. This woman does not. I feel like this woman did not think that, she didn't even know that was happening. She's just walking by and then hears bouncing boobs and she's like, what? Like you see it happening, like it made me so happy.
It's so funny. So then we flash back to Jasmine, and Jasmine's talking to her friends about how she hates the fact that his family reached out to her asking questions about how much she loves Gino. And so this is what they're talking. This is the screenshot we grabbed. It's from an blurred out source, and it says, "Hi, Jasmine. How much do you love my cousin Gino for real?" And I say Gino like that because Gino is in quotes as though his real name is not Gino.
Sebastian.
Yeah. And so it's weird that, and she's like freaking out, and I'm like,
how dare you? How dare you ask me that? And my own mother wouldn't ask me that. Like, like.
It is, yeah, it's crazy because if I were to receive this message, I would think that this wasn't his cousin and that this was some weird fan who doesn't understand quotes,
Yes.
So anyways, she's freaked out about that. And that's some TLC nonsense because like, that's really nothing to be freaked out. It's so weird. So after we flash back to him and he's like, I gotta find my passport. I hide it here so that.
Oh, and then, okay. So then Wah was like, he's wearing 2 pants. And I was like, I don't think so. And Wah break it. Wait, we have to break down every layer. Break down every layer from the top, from outside going in.
Okay. He's wearing like sweats, but not like not like cottony billowy ones. He's wearing like athletic ones or something.
Thin athletic ones.
Sweats. Then under that, he's got on like khaki pants with a braided belt, like a braided brown belt, and he's got that on those pants. And then under his pants, he's got like something wrapped around his waist that has a zipper in it,
like the thinnest fanny pack.
Yeah, and that's where he's kept his passport.
Money.
And it's so funny because why are you wearing sweats over pants? Are you going to be cold in the airplane, so you had to wear sweats over your pants? Or like, what is going on? And they took a picture of it because it's so odd. So there's that. So
that fanny pack smells so bad. I'm like, that fanny pack is all behind all those layers like that. It's so hot the whole time. The fanny pack just sitting there absorbing everything.
No, it's gross.
I don't want it.
Okay. So then
they get there. Okay, I'll tell you what happens. They get there. He, makes his way there. And he gets to the plane, honey. He's like waiting for her. And, like those boobies just come jumping in his face, honey. And she now, okay, so remember how she was with her friends and she was wearing a matte lip, but we told you we liked the bright matte lip. In this scene, she started with a matte lip and then she put a gloss over it. Okay, yeah. Same color, now gloss, wet gloss. Okay, so they kiss and it's all over her, and she looks Bananaramas. He says not one thing to her about that. Like, like doesn't be like, like she's now on camera, like
with makeup, like lipstick all over her lips.
She's like, if we weren't in a public place with all the kids around, I would have gotten on my knees and put your whole dick in my mouth. Like, she really says something like that where like Gino's like, and in this moment, I'm like, oh, she is, I'm gonna say this. She is too trashy for me to deal with. I can't, the image of her with the lipstick smeared everywhere and the crazy eyes with the contacts and her crazy hair everywhere, you know, like, and like her energy is such, and like the like hypersexualness, I'm just like, it gives me pause and revulsion, you know, like it doesn't feel like a woman authentic in her sexuality. It doesn't feel like, it feels like something is off, and I feel uncomfortable about it. Like it feels like a play or presentation at something, and it doesn't, I don't know, so it's not connecting like a human.
Yeah,
I don't know how to say what I'm saying.
It feels like she's Jasmine 2.0. And that's what it is. It's a heightened version of the person that we saw last time. And where she actually had the upper hand to a certain extent because he sent her topless pictures to his ex. And so she has this like great moment where she's like, I trusted you. And it's like, you know, valid, kind of valid. But anyway, yes. So she's Jasmine 2.0. So they get.
Can I say, I feel like Jasmine 2.0 makes her, she seems like she's better. So that's why I'm like, she's more to me, I guess, but I'm going to let you, I feel like she's more like Jasmine who has like gotten a computer virus. And kind of like, you know, like that's what, okay,
yes, that's a good one. Okay. No, that's it.
Oh yeah, we can move on.
We can move on.
Good, 30 minutes. Great. Okay. So next people are Riley and Violet.
Oh my God. Blech. I don't know why he bothers me so much. So he is going to his elderly father's home, and he's going to go visit him. And we get this man, and he's making curry goat. And immediately I'm like, oh, he's from the islands. I can't remember what I said, but he's from the islands. And this man like starts to just tell us about how his son loves curry goat, and he really loves his son.
Yeah, but his dad is from Trinidad and Tobago, same place that Nikki's from.
Yeah, Trini.
So, oh no, I fucked up. Nikki, no, that's Rihanna's from Trinidad and Tobago.
No, Rihanna's from Barbados.
Oh, okay, I was right. Ha ha ha. Always trust your first instinct. Especially when you're a rapper. So basically another thing happens that is also crazy. Two things. Okay. There's two things that happen in the scene that we should bring your attention to. One is the father has one long thumbnail that it is so long, and every other nail is short. So my first thought is, this man, honey, if he's not cooking curry goat, honey, he's doing a flamenco guitar every night. I mean, you know, he's plucking. Okay, so you tell me if I'm wrong. And the second thing is, this is also weird. The dad, for some reason, has a textual relationship with Violet. They text all the time. So much so that Violet feels soup's comf with the dad.
Yeah.
To tell the dad things about happening with the relation. Like, first of all, what in my mind, I could not imagine texting someone, anyone that I've ever been romantic with, texting their dad. And I would kill someone if they text my dad. So I don't even know what I would do. Like, the thought of it is like, how are you still in a relationship with this person? Well, isn't that crazy to you?
To text your dad?
Both? Yes, both. But it's a female. Okay, yes.
No.
Yes, both.
So what she's done is crazy. Yes, what she's done is absolutely crazy. And I would be...
They're all three crazy, though. The dad's like, why has... I mean, I don't know. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so the dad says that he didn't want to tell Riley because he didn't want to get in the middle of anything or cause any distress. But once Riley tells him that they got into a row the other day, he's like, well, I wanted to tell you. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go there. He's like, well, listen, let me show you now. Now that you're taking it to the next level and you're going to go there, let me tell you all the things that she sent me. So he's very upset, Riley. And I would be upset too, honestly. However, I think that if I were in a relationship with somebody for 2 years, I mean, I don't think it's, and you live in a foreign country and it's a different culture or like whatever. I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibilities that she would reach out to the dad, especially if Riley was the one who gave her his dad's number. So I think that's, go ahead.
I want, like, was it just like, hey, I want you to know my dad, so just like sometimes call him?
No, I think it was to like, yeah, I guess call him because he was suffering he had COVID. And he was really ill. And so Riley says that, she began to reach out to the dad to give well wishes and things like that.
Oh, she did? They did that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So like she had his number because of him. And so I'm like, oh, okay. Part of me is like, that's not without the realm of possibility of things happening. Okay. So he gets upset, and then the next scene we have is him in his house deciding to get a private investigator in Vietnam, and he's smoking a cigar like a cartoon character in his own home. And we're like, do you have some kind of special filtration to take that smell out?
Is the window open?
Yeah, like, it's interesting. So then the private investigator tells him yeah, I do this all the time. And he's like, well, how many of the cases where the women are found okay or like not cheating? He's like, no, 80% they're doing something wrong. 80%. And I'm like, Riley, if you have to go this far to get an investigator to check out Violet because of her divorce, like, it's a divorce. Like, it isn't like she's lying about having gone to prison or lying about, committing fraud. Like, he wants to know if she's really divorced. And I'm like, I get wanting to know why, but why are you so obsessed with it? Like, yeah, go ahead, Chris. What?
No, I guess, and what is also like freaky deaky is it's not just like an internet thing. Like, he really is okay with this man like stalking her.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well then I'll just sit in my car, wait for her to leave her house, like take pictures. I'll give you video and pictures of, and I've seen cheaters, so I know what the pictures look like. It's like kind of like, yeah, like stocky style pictures. Anyway, so all of this guy's clients are, I guess, mostly American. Ha 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 ha. Because there's probably a lot of insecure men out there, like, that don't trust people. I can only imagine. I'm like mildly, I'm like, I want to know this. I'm like, I kind of wish this like private eye is just like a whole ass fraud and not really stalking women and just like taking money from these American men. But the other half of me is like, because if he's really stalking a bunch of Asian women, I hate that for him. Okay, so, and I hate that for them. Okay, but
yeah. So I think we're done with them at this point for that. So we can move on to
Tyree.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyree, obviously we're coming hot off of the fact that his whole situation has been catfished. It's a catfish episode, and we pick up from the producers telling him outside, like Christian. Oh, sorry, I forgot the name of who his person is, but it's this person named Christian.
Yeah, Carmelita or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the person's real name is Christian, and so it's she's right. It was like we were watching an episode of Catfish, and I was like, "Where's Neve?" Like it was yeah. So, anyways, he then finds out the name, and he's so like overwhelmed that he goes to the bathroom and like in the kitchen, and he like gets water, and then he sits down on the couch, and he just like doesn't know what to do because he's been talking to this person for 4 years, and he's like, I've watched Catfish. Like, I know what to do to spot a fake profile. And I was like, a fake profile? No. You meant to say, I've watched Catfish. I understand that if they won't show me who they are, they probably aren't who they say they are. Like, that, if that's the lesson to take from Catfish, it's not how to spot a fake profile. It's when somebody doesn't put you on video, that's the red flag. So,
and more. Yeah. That he reveals so many more that are like, there's so many red flags that you're like, oh, Tyree.
Yeah. You don't watch Catfish. Anyway, so or you did and you knew, and you were living in a fantasy, and that fantasy took you to apply to 90 Day Fiancé, which is like your mental plane is like not right. And the producers knew that. They knew that before they started filming. There is no way that as professionals, they would start filming a show and not reach out to two people at the same time before they start filming one. Right?
I see what you're saying. I wonder though if it was a little harder to get to, I don't know. I obviously they make us know that he's consented to show this.
Yes.
Which is interesting because they don't always make that a point for us to know, but it was very obvious that they like kept all that in so that we wouldn't feel a certain way about how, we start to wonder what Tyree's emotional capabilities are, in the sense of like, we want to make sure that we're dealing with someone who has someone in their corner advocating for them, because what we know about Tyree is that he is taking care of his mom. So, and the house that Tyree's living in also starts to maybe like give us pause of like the facilities of everyone involved, like.
Yeah. So
Does that make sense? Am I saying
Yes.
right? Okay. Also, at one point, they show his Apple Watch when he's being told the news that, you know, his whole catfish situation, and his like heart is beating so fast, and they make that. So we're gonna go to a next scene now where we meet his siblings, which we've heard about the siblings, mostly the fact that siblings are not around, and he's the one taking care of his mom. My hair looks horrible right now. Look at this. Why I do this myself? It's a brother and a sister. What?
Yes. So his brother and his sister come to have a conversation with him. There's a point in there though where he doesn't want his mother to know what's going on. So he's like, yeah, I can film outside. So he goes outside in like sandals. And then I'm like, is he gonna be outside in sandals? And then the next scene I see him, he's like in Jordans. So I was like, oh, okay. Anyways, so he has the to meet up with his brother and sister at like a whatever, I don't know, the smallest cafe. And they happen to get the most beautiful window seat. And so they interview the siblings, and the siblings are like, well, I'm really surprised that Tyree reached out to us because he's really, really quiet and he keeps to himself and he holds everything tight. And like, you know, they're like, ever since our father died, like blah, 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 blah. So they're like honored to be here, but also like don't know what he's about to say. So they offered Tyree an opportunity to listen to the voice of Christian, and he doesn't take it when he's by himself, but his siblings are like, no, we should listen to it. And so the siblings are there with him. They hold hands. It's so cute.
That part's cute.
And then they start to play the recording, and he immediately freaks out and like gets up and leaves. And his sister goes after him and like, you know, holds him and hugs him. And it's just like, oh, you know.
Yeah, the sister's like, I thought you were asexual.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't stand one moment of hearing it. And then what happens, my loves, is you know, there's like the stages of grief, and it very much feels like Tyree is in denial. Is that the first stage?
I don't know, but he definitely is in that one.
He's definitely in denial and stays in denial of it. And he like he literally says to camera, you know, I just hope that there's like been some mistake and maybe she wasn't, you know, it just is, you see this person just hoping and grasping for something, and which will take us into the rest of the season, because if that, you know, there's definitely, if the person had a angry response, if this person was like, what? Oh my God, I don't, you know, that, you know, well, here's some other things. We also learn a couple of other things, my loves. Tyree had gone to Barbados during COVID, had to incubate. What's the word? You know, what do they call
incubate,
it?
quarantine.
No, quarantine. Sorry, quarantine for like however many days. And then obviously when that was done, like called up his boo, who he came there for, and she just fucking ghosted him. Like didn't answer back, which is bananas. I mean, like, could you imagine? So that happened, but not only did that happen, she has been asking for money.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but I don't give her that much. I only give her like $50 a month. And it's like, yeah, baby, because you're not the only one. What are you talking about? And she's going to keep going $50 a month. I mean, like, you know, so, and he's like, yeah, she asks for money all the time. So he's saying the things that you're like, what, babe, what? And, you know, I guess I long for someone in his life that is able to connect with him in a way to be like, no, babe.
Yeah.
I love you so much. I'm going to help you out of this. This isn't it. This is not real.
Yep.
So anyway, go on.
Yeah, he even still text messaged Carmela.
That's what it was.
Yeah. After they told him.
And the text messages are, babe, they just told me you aren't real. That can't be true, right, babe? I love, you know, like, it's definitely not text messages like, what the fuck? Just so you know, or I don't know, like, you know, just so you know, I got the producers over here telling me that they try to contact you, and it's a man named Christian. So I absolutely need to video chat with you tonight. It's not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
For sending you all that money, and it is like, babe, this can't be true, my love.
Yeah. When you know it's not. That's why you know he knows that he's just living in a fantasy. So yeah, that's the end of Tyree.
To say.
We can do Rosvin and Amanda or David and Sheila. Rosvin and Amanda. All right.
Sorry, I was drinking water.
Where's their picture? There they are. So we've got Amanda, who is a newly widowed mother of two, who is embarking on a journey to Hungary to meet her boyfriend Razvan, who is a social media influencer, an actor, and a singer. And he is really inspired by Jean-Claude Van Damme and has wanted to be an actor since he was a little bitty bear. And so she's wearing her, like, you know, pants, striped pants, and she goes to see him. She has like a little bit of a layover in Paris, and then she gets there and she's changed her clothes, and you know, we like her for it.
Yeah, she's very insecure that she will look. She's like, am I gonna look cute? I know you look so ugly. You know, she's like that kind of thing. He's like, you will look so pretty for me. You know, whatever. God bless. So then she does. She changes. She changes and she looks cute. So then we have the airport scene. Now he has brought a bear made of cottony, silky roses. White bear, cottony, silky roses, black tie. I think it's cute. Okay. Does she ever acknowledge the bear? Absolutely fucking not. This girl walks out and she couldn't be more awkward. She is like, he kisses her. She's like, this. For the first 10 minutes as they walk out, I'm like, oh, she hates this man. I mean, you know, like what
didn't
she thought.
Say no tongue? Didn't she say?
She's like, don't put your tongue in my mouth. In my mind, I'm like, is she saying that because she has bad breath? Or is she saying that because she's like, you disgust me in every way and I've gotten myself into a shitty situation? I did not know the answer.
I thought she might have been saying because she's like, I don't want to make out with somebody on TV. I don't know.
But she is so awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah. And it's so, it's just like, she's like, you know, whatever. They get in the car, you know, it's still awkward. He's like driving her around. You know, his whole thing is, we got a scene from him, which we didn't talk about. Just like his whole thing is obviously like, yes, an influencer. He just like walks around Honey Budapest, like living his life. There's a scene that he has before she comes with like a friend of his. It's a girl that looks just like Amanda, but like a little more edgier, a little more rougher, maybe like a little bit more of a party girl. And it feels like that girl loves herself some Rosman. And so, you know, they're talking and that, you know, and they're like, you know, what's it going to be like? And he's like, yeah, you know, like when she gets here, we'll just like figure it out. And he's like, yeah, she's like, you know, it's a couple of kids. And she's like, oh my God, are you going to be a dad to those kids? You know, which is exactly what Amanda has decided to justify this entire trip on. Every time Amanda is starting to feel like she's making a bad decision and she wants us to not think it's a bad decision, Amanda will be like, and also it's the kids. They really need a brand new dad as soon as possible. And so now he is with this woman that's obsessed with him. And he's like, yeah, I don't know about the kids. So I'm just gonna like be a friend to these kids, you know, like a kind of friend that like teaches them how to work out. Like, I don't know whether, you know, like it's so crazy. And like he also, little tidbit, on his best day, he made $2,000 in these TikTok live streams where he can like turn broses into money.
Yeah. So I really like Rosman. I think he's hot. And like even that scene with the friend, she's wearing blue with like red. It's like, it's oddly colored differently. They're in like such a fun, cool scene. And Chris and I were listening to the language they were speaking, and it was like Spanish and French and like Portuguese. It was just like this lyrical, beautiful language that don't think I've ever heard. And I'm like, this is giving me like some kind of, what is the Pink Ladies? What's the movie the Pink Ladies? Grease. It's like a Grease, like part 4 of I don't know. It was just giving me such a vibe of like young love in like fucking Budapest or wherever they are.
Oh, like a summer nights?
Yeah, it was like giving me something. Wow. The whole scene, yeah. Okay. So, anyways.
You see how easy it is for me to like recall any sort of Broadway trivia? She's like, Pink Lady, I'm like, Grease? Okay, anyway, so, yeah, no, that's, yeah, like, it's...
Audrey, too.
Well, yes, Somewhere That's Green, honey, it's Little Shop of Horse. I I talked about that last night. Okay, so going back now to Amanda and Rosvan in the car, but yeah, we wanted to talk about that scene and also the fact that he has they are off kilter in every way of what their goals are, and it's just delusional. Anyway, God bless, as delusional as other people. So, what's the difference between Tyron and what's the difference between Amanda? Who's living in more delusion?
Tyree and Amanda.
Who's more delusional?
Oh,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Yeah, I also just love the fact that she doesn't talk about the teddy bear at all, because I wonder if he's like, did you see the teddy? You know, whatever, God bless. So they get to his apartment. It's like beautiful and a big modern, you know, like building, you know, like everything is brand new. Everything is like, it feels like, you know, he uses it as a set, you know, like there's definitely not kid friendly. Not kid friendly. By the way, also in that scene with his friend, he also made it seem like, well, she could move here and I could move there. And I'm like, with them kids? I mean, what? Anyway, so he gets her there. She like looks around, you know.
Oh, and she does the dumbest thing.
Oh, yeah.
She goes into his bedroom and she sees like a box of tissue on his nightstand. And she's like, why do you have a box of tissue in your room? I want to tell you that I have a box of tissue on any surface that I would be sitting by for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I have one at my podcasting table. I have one in the kitchen. I have one in the bathroom. And I have one by my bed. Like I
love tissue.
I need tissue everywhere. I need it.
So Amanda thinks you're crying all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's like, Amanda's like, but you don't use tissue unless you cry. So why would you want to be crying in bed? Like, it's like, what? Oh, okay. Maybe she like, okay, I just want to say this. Where Amanda lives, it's really dry. So she has like absolutely no allergies. Okay, so that's one thing. And also Amanda, and this is the other thing. I was like, oh, has Amanda never orgasmed?
Yeah.
Amanda's ideas of like it's like so close-minded of like, why would you have tissues? It just reminded me of like, is this person been on this earth, on God's green earth for like a long time? How did you have these two kids? You know, like she's so young looking. She's so like a little frail bird, you know, like everything about her like feels so freshly born. And also like, you know, it's just it's scary. It's like this, like her fragileness is scares me, but I think there's also the delusional factor that's mixed with that I'm like, you need to protect your boys, and you cannot, and just help find help, go help her there's a lot of help her.
Yes she does. Oh my god. She's so dramatic. So if you guys are on anyways, so she's here, she's back. Anyways, Amanda gets a call from her son, her
I love this part too.
Amanda gets a call from her son and daughter, and the sons are like, the son asks her if like where she's going to be sleeping, and also then wants to like see a tour of the bedroom. Is very, very odd, because they know she's moving on too fast from their dad. This man just left their lives, so they want to know what mom is up to. So
they're literally like, while we still sleep with dead daddy box, are you sleeping with new daddy bed? Like, you know, like these are kids. And so every time she even like, this is not the second time this little boy, this is the second time this little boy has said such a thing on screen. And her reaction every time is like, isn't that so weird that he's asking that? And it's like, no.
So then she freaks out when she's brushing her hair after she takes a shower that there's no space on the counter for her. And he's like, I can make space. And he says now to the camera twice, she is still grieving. She's a widow. I have to be very patient with her. She's only been with him ever in her life, and it was for the last 11 years. And so, you know, blah, like he's actively recognizing her barriers, right? And so it's like, is he using her, or is he just like somebody who wants to take care of someone, and he sees her fragileness and her burdenness and wants to like, is he a captain?
Yeah, you know, it's so interesting, right? Because we already talked about the kind of male personality earlier that would like want like a ball busting bitch and what that means. And then there's also this strong energy to fix a baby bird.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been baby bird quality, so like I'll never know what that life's like, but it sounds honestly doesn't sound bad. But let me just also say this. She's in a modern bathroom. There is no counter space. It isn't, you know what I'm saying? Like it is a freestanding sink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Amanda, you're going to have to get one of those hanging dilly things. Like it hangs and it has the pockets, honey, where you put your beauty shit, and you're going to have to hang it from there, because even if he was to make space, you're not gonna be able to put all your shit there. It's, you know, it's roughly the space counter is like a MacBook Pro. Like you have like literally a space for like one thing of like hand wash and one thing like maybe a towel. That's it. So that also did make sense too, because it isn't like he had a whole counter and his shit's everywhere.
Yeah. But even if it was, like, maybe he didn't think, okay, yeah, I gotta make space for her. Maybe this is first time he's had someone like live with him. Oh no, his wife. Anyways,
oh yeah, we found out that he's been married, which we didn't know.
Yeah.
Which he got. Oh, okay, this is also, I forgot this part, because it's like, yeah, he got married to a woman that he had known for a month, and then were married for like 6 to 9 months or something like that, and then they divorced. Now, what we don't know is where the woman is. Is that woman American? All he says is, and this is very convenient, that the marriage ended because she could not deal with the jealousy incurred by his content creator fame.
Yeah. But we do know she's not American, because he says that. He says that that Amanda is the only American woman he's ever dated.
I'm so happy you're here.
Yeah, he says that in the beginning. And their marriage lasted 6 months. So it was 7 months total. It was like crazy.
Yeah.
And so we find that when he was talking to his, that Greece lady. Anyway, that pink lady. So she just has a little, it's just so rude and weird. And then they get into the bed and she's like, we're not sleeping together. We definitely aren't sleeping together. Like, but, and I'm like, maybe I as a person just haven't had certain experiences in life, but I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, not to say that she should have sex with him, but the way she reacted was like, how could that be expected? And I'm like, well, it could be expected because you were staying with him as opposed to getting a hotel so that you could at least have your space,
or do what you've now twice told your child you're going to do, which is sleep on the motherfucking couch.
Yes.
Or make him.
Yeah. But like, anyways, I'm not judging her for not wanting to have sex with him at all. Like, not at all. Like, I get why.
Believe me, Wa gets why. I mean, she sees them. Like, but when he gets, listen, I also too. You had, I think he's hot too. I think he's hot in the tidy whities. You think that you said he's hot. My loves, I'm not into a shaved chest. Anyway, go on.
Yeah. So, I was like, yeah, I'm with you any way a man wants to present. It's his body. It's his choice.
Men are so, okay, I love you, but men are also so hypercritical of women that I am so only happy to have any sort of like, oh my God, only too happy.
But anyways, so they go to sleep, and I don't recall if we see what happens the next morning. We just seen a confessional that she was sucking on his neck all night or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on. I'm done with them.
David and Sheila. So David and Sheila, honey. So David, a lovingly hearing impaired, and Sheila is from the Philippines, and she also had some hearing impair issues, but it's a little bit more able to hear now because of devices. Anyway, but David hasn't been traveling, my loves, like in the past 18 years. So, and as we know, like a little side note is David was able to really like find himself and excel in a situation in boarding school when he was surrounded by people that also were hearing impaired, and he obviously knows ASL really well. And then kind of when he gets out into the real world and has to deal with like hearing people all the time, he doesn't know how to read lips, and therefore it can be very difficult for him to kind of like get around in such a way. And I'm sure for people, if you do read lips, it's still, but he hasn't traveled in 18 years. And so he starts to, check in, and he starts to talk about some of the issues he has, like what if there's something wrong and he doesn't hear an announcement or whatever. And, I keep kind of like screaming at like, oh, babe, don't even worry about it. Like if you just have the Delta app on your phone, like you're going to get all the, different stuff anyway. Like you'll just be able to read it. But, he's scared about that. And he doesn't, checking in is hard. And it's like, like he doesn't go to the self-serve kiosk, like there's like, oh, just go to, but he also is international traveling. So I don't know if maybe there's the apps for once you get to Paris or once you get to London, like what happens for him. So anyway.
Yeah, no, he has to figure out the airport and navigate it in a way that like I do not. So the fact that he is so happy and does everything and gets onto the airplane, and
his friend drives him there.
His friend's like, if it's not working and you come home early, I'll pick you up. I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. So he is very happy to get there. The food on the plane is delicious, he tells us, and I'm like, ooh, how exciting for you.
I love that little bit. Yeah, I can see anyone's food at all times. Like
yeah.
Also, I think he's in business class.
Yeah. So, he has a pretty good seat. So And I think that's the end that we see with him. We do cut to Sheila, and they want us to know the conditions in which Sheila and her family are living in. And we find out that there was a fire, and we find out that there was a typhoon, and she doesn't really have a roof. And her father is like, well, maybe he can give us more money once he sees that. And she's like, no, I won't push him on that. Like, he gives us money, you know, when he does, and it works out for our family. So she already is very endearing. Then we find out that she's hard of hearing as well, and she will soon lose hearing in that ear because she stuck a broom in her ear when she was a kid, and it bust her eardrums. So that's like, ooh, girl.
She has a 12-year-old son.
Mm-hmm. And she's just wanting to know how everything is going to work with him being there. So she and her friends go and they buy a sexy dress for her so that it'll be cute when she's at the airport to pick him up. So,
and they talk about sex.
Oh yeah, apparently he has a large eggplant.
Pink,
yeah,
red,
pink.
And he's very horny.
Yeah,
and she's very horny.
Yes.
And they're horny all the time. Like, they're horny, like horn dogs. Like, they just always cyber sexing. Didn't you love it? Yeah.
I'm so happy for them to meet.
I know.
I'm so happy for them to meet. So I feel like I'm going to love their combination. We do talk about how jealous she is because the last guy she dated cheated on her. So she wants to exchange phones with him, and he's agreed to exchange phones when they get there so that they can look through each other's phones. How cute.
You know, is that true?
No.
Oh, yeah. Do you want?
Yeah, you can say your side.
Well, mine. Okay. I feel like that makes sense to me in this situation because of if it's this in the context of you haven't met in real life, you've only met, like on the internet, and so there's, not sharing space and not being able to like read each other and wanting to make sure that you both feel comfortable and good and on like a base level. You do that once just to let it be known that you are of pure heart and intent. And then from there, you can build something. Now, if that's something that's always going to happen, that seems weird. If they're both into it, I guess, I don't know. Keep doing it. That seems like you are never going to trust that person. But, I get it because of like the catfish nature or the internet nature or whatever, like even whatever you're going to say because of that. I think that if you met in real life and you've been hanging out and you do that, it's kind of a little weird, like there is a distrust there. But because again, we've seen so much I want to say the word right. If it's not genuine, it's ingenuine. Ingenuity? Is that a word? Ingenuineness? We've seen a lot of
genuineness is what you're trying to say. Though.
Not genuineness.
Not genuineness, but you're meaning that. Okay.
We've seen a lot of, I want to say ingenuity, but it's not that.
Ingenuity to me means when you not discover something, but when you like invent.
Yeah, you're right.
Simplify, like having a thinking of the light bulb.
We've seen a lot of We've seen a lot of con artists. We've seen a lot of people that like aren't
disingenuine.
Yep, that's good. That's great.
That's the word you're looking for, right?
Yeah, like we've seen it enough where people like that. I don't mind the idea of people being like, I really like you, and so yeah, I want you to feel safe. Anyway, go ahead, Wa.
That makes sense.
But I know that. But you're like, I don't know, that screams weird to me. Would you do it?
If somebody wanted to do it, yes, I would.
Oh,
but I would never request it, or it would never be a thing that I'm like, oh, hey, let's do this. It would shake me by surprise, but
would you do it over and over again?
I guess. It depends on how good everything was. Like if our relationship was fucking amazing and I was so happy with you and enthralled by you, then yes. But otherwise, if you weren't fitting the bill and you asked me for my fucking phone again, I'd be like, no. Mm-hmm. So like, I don't know that I could do this, honestly. So anyways, but I just couldn't do what these people are doing. I think that's what it is. So anyways, we're really excited for them to meet. We want this to go well. And yeah, I think Sheila's giving me a little Eartha Kitt.
Yeah, you said that's great.
Yeah, look at this face. That square.
Yeah,
square
absolutely.
jaw.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah. So, anywho. All right. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, That is it.
We did it.
We did do it. And it was, relatively free of any drama.
Yes. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for being here. If you would like to see the visuals of what you're listening to right now, you can join us on Patreon for $10 a month. And that's patreon.com/DocuSweeties. We've got some new people recently. So hello to you. We do Love in Paradise as a... yeah, you want to talk about your nerds. We do the visuals, what you see. We also have exclusive content on Patreon, so you guys will get to see those things.
Yeah, for right now, we have disgusting things in front of us. We're going to show you. Okay, ready? Like, we have candies in front of us.
Oh, wait, this is Patreon. So Patreon will show you.
Oh. Well, no. I don't care. I've already done it. So, like, Nerds gummy clusters, but if you want to know what it looks like, it'll be on Patreon. And then Wah has Cheez-Its in front of her. Also, the extra toasty ones, like my favorite kind, the well done. It's blackened, extra blackened. And Lifesavers, gummy sours. I came home and she had just gone. This thing I'd never seen. It's Reese's dipped animal crackers. I was like, well, that's crazy. Do you have anything more?
I have regular Cheez-Its too.
You have 2 kinds of Cheez-Its? Okay. Anyway, we also have a social media situation. Stop making crinkly sounds for 1 second. If you want to follow us on social media, you absolutely can. We are at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. By the way, have you given us 5 stars? I would. At the same time, we love you so much, we would give you 5 stars if you had a podcast. Here we are. We're going to end it. We are going to keep going with the other shows we're doing, and we have some fun things coming up. We love you guys so much, and thank you for being on the ride of your lives with us and our lives with you. Bye.
Bye.